What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to give you my reaction slash review to Skeleton Crew Episode 4. I just finished watching this episode and it left me with a little bit of irritation because the kids in this are kind of dumb. And saying kinda is light. The story in this one was interesting in some parts, thin in other ones, and then just dumb at the end, which just bothered the hell out of me because it seems so obvious what to do that even a computerized child should be able to figure this out, and they didn't. Yeah, so maybe they're just stretching it out for another episode. I don't know. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Now, this episode picks up with the children on the ship coming through a barrier and arriving at the planet. Now, getting through the cloud cover, the ship starts to go down on autopilot. And 33, the droid, takes over and lands the ship himself. Now, once landing on this planet, the children find out that while it looks like their world, it is ruined, smoked out, burned, partially destroyed. And 33 talks like he remembers this place. Now, to me, this is obvious that he's been here before because the ship tried to land itself on autopilot. Means that it's been there before. Regardless of that, the kids go off in search of, I don't know, to see what else they can find and ask 33 to guard Jod on the ship. Makes perfect sense. Now, coming up on a square and a statue devoted to somebody, this world looks pretty much like theirs. Same buildings, same setup, and everything. Only difference is they don't know that the statue is there. And while staring at the destroyed statue, they are fired upon and hide to later be discovered by two, I don't know what you would call them, but two of the indigenous population, which one of them removes its helmet to reveal another tall girl boss. Lovely. The conversation is broken up very quickly when they're told to hide because these two indigenous people are hiding from another group of people that come by that is mostly composed of adults. And apparently, they are from the other tribe than the one of the two indigenous that has just, come upon Wim and his team. Now, after escaping this other party, the Hattons, the Troika, or Troika, whatever what they call it, excuse me, head back to their base, which is inside of a ruined school building that looks just like Wim and Neil and Fern's school. Exactly the same. Once inside, they are introduced to the girl, indigenous, named Hannah. They're introduced to her father, who runs their tribe. And he tells them that the children here are treated like adults and warriors. So he welcomes them and listens to their story about where they've come from, what they've come for. And Hannah hears their story and recalls to them that it's possibly something that they could discover in the Fallen Sanctum. Now, this Fallen Sanctum is a dangerous, perilous journey that they have to go on, and Hannah's father does not permit them to go until they have some training. So the kids are shuffled off to do some training with weapons and whatnot. And if they prove successful, then he will give them the directions to the fallen sanctum. Now, at this point, you get a little bit of Neil's story where Neil and the girl, Hannah, actually see how the other children live in this place. So while the other kids are playing around with the guns and stuff like that, Neil and Hannah are having an actual conversation about what life looks like here. And you get the first anti-war, anti-fighting message that it's not right to fight, you just make peace. Now, this is pretty ridiculous to me because you fight. Eventually, you will have to fight. Even the peaceful at some time have to fight. Now, the war on this planet that goes back and forth, people stealing resources from each other and then fighting to get them back, seems like it's been going on for a while and nobody really understands how it started, but it's just been going on, perpetuated that way for a while. So, Neil sitting down trying to give this woman a speech about it's wrong to fight when he comes from a planet of abundance and sitting right in the middle of a planet with a lack of anything. To me, seems a bit pretentious and not reading the room. So once they have completed their little training, they're sent out on a mission to lead the Troika into this war as the point people. And once they're out in front, they end up running upon Jod and 33, who were captured by the Hattons a while back and sent toward the Troika. Now, it turns out that Jod, having gone through the kids' bags on the ship, found their Republic credits, and he used those Republic credits to give to the Hattons to buy back the EOBs, the little livestock that they had stolen from the Troika. And he brings that back to them in exchange for the 4 kids that are there. Now, this strikes me as weird because on this desolate planet where they barely have food and stuff like that, what the hell are they going to do with gold Republic credits? Where are they going to spend that? It just seems ridiculous. It really does. Needless to say, because they have helped the Troika return their stolen livestock, Hannah offers to lead them to the fallen sanctum. And the fallen sanctum ends up being not fallen at all, pretty much standing upright. And it is just the same supervisor's tower that the kids recognize from their planet at Aten, because the planet that they're on is at Akram, not at Aten. Now, getting inside this supervisor's tower and getting up to the top, they discover that on the pillars at the top of this are the names of the other hidden planets with coordinates under them. But when they find the one for At Aten, the coordinates are destroyed. Now, this is where Captain Fern has her little breakdown and is upset and doesn't know what to do. But it's discovered that 33 was the one who destroyed this coordinate on the first time he was here with his previous captain. And Fern, doing a little clever trickery of getting the robot to remember what was ordered not to remember, gets 33 to admit and remember that he does know where Atten is. And yes, he did destroy that tablet. And in addition to destroying that tablet, the previous captain ordered him to kill anybody or pull anybody who came looking for, poking around for information, to pull them limb from limb. So he, in turn, starts to go pirate. Let's just say that. He starts to go pirate and he starts to go after the kids. Jod can't do anything with his, blaster stick. It's on a fritz. It's not working correctly. The other kids are just huddled together like Scooby Doo and the group from the Mystery Machine. Just all huddled up together, screaming. And Neil throws rocks at a droid's head to get his attention. And when the droid comes after Neil, Jod runs behind him, hits the power button, so he's shut off like Data and falls over Neil, and Neil passes out. Now that ends the episode. And this is where I have my irritation with this episode. The dumbest thing in the world, I think, was done was Fern getting 33 to remember what he was ordered not to remember. My thinking would be if somebody ordered him not to remember that, another second of thought would have said there's probably a reason they ordered him not to remember. Especially since he partially remembers he's the one who destroyed those coordinates. So yes, that does mean the coordinates are in his memory banks, but it also means the ability to destroy that stuff is in there too. The reasoning behind why he did it is in there too. I would have thought about that a little longer. But beyond that, beyond activating the dormant parts of the droid's brain is the only way to find these coordinates, there are about 5 other pillars there with names of other planets and the coordinates on them. Now, according to the little owl woman, all the other planets were destroyed, right? Okay. So how are they standing on Ackam? That would mean that maybe the other planets exist too. And if the other planets exist and their towers are right there with the coordinates on them, and you already know that this planet looks exactly like yours, built the same way with the same features and buildings, I would think if you went to any of those other planets at the coordinates that are listed, you would find another building that looks just like the one you're standing in right now, with coordinates that are potentially not destroyed, like the ones standing right here. The coordinates for Atten would be on one of those other planets in the same supervisor's tower. That seems pretty simple to me. They got a robotic girl there. She can memorize the coordinates. You can get back to the ship, plug them into the ship, and we're off and running. But no, they activate the pirate droid, who can't remember but does remember that he's been there before. Okay, I guess this is how you get drama for kids. For me, that was fucking stupid. It just wasn't well thought out. This wasn't well thought out. So this episode in the end ends up being filler. Some little reveals, but mostly filler. And cuts off at a point where you're seeing the boy, one of the boys in this, still looking weak and silly as shit, which is bothering the hell out of me. Now, we introduced 2 new characters, a couple new characters outside of the males, 2 more kids. And once again, Well, the girl is the tall one, and the boy is a little diminutive. You don't even get to see his face thing. That's bothering the hell out of me too, because it's a psychological thing. Now, I'm watching the show because I'm not taking it overly seriously, and it's not doing anything to ruin canon, so that's all and good. And we can just watch it and try to, enjoy it. I'm really curious though what young children think of this show if they're even watching it. I don't know. I'll have to ask my brother if my nephew is watching this or not. I doubt if he is. But some of this is just not tracking. It's just not logically tracking for me. And maybe it's just this time, but it's kind of irritating. But as it stands, it's 4 episodes, nothing overly offensive. It's just happening. It's just stuff, moving pictures on a screen right now. So that's it. That was my review of episode 4 of The Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined, and use the QR code in the top right corner to check out the Patreon content. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.